This is Retirement Tactics with Joe Vitale from American Retirement Advisors. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Joe Vitale provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goal. And now, here with the tactics to help you improve your retirement is Joe Vitale.
Hello, welcome back to Retirement Tactics. My name is Joe Vitale from American Retirement Advisors. If at any point during the show you want to learn more information, feel free to give us a call at 855-756-5700 or visit us online at aradvisorsinc.com. And while you're at my website, feel free to head over to our radio page. Check out our past shows, subscribe to our show on iTunes, Google Play, or Spotify. That will ensure you're always kept up to date with our latest episodes. Now, today's episode focuses on a recent article from USA Today, which is called "A Third of Adults Age 50 and Over Are Not Prepared for Retirement." Are you one of those adults who are not prepared for retirement? How can you determine if you're in that group? Well, first, let's bring my co-host, Tony. How you doing in today?
Well, I'm doing great. That sounds like a great topic today, Joe. It is good to see you, and I think we're going to have a good discussion on this one today. Thanks for having me on the show. I've just been great, busy as usual, having fun with the fam. The kids are back to school, and just trying to hang on to the last days of summer at this point. How about you? I know you've been busy over there, haven't you?
Been crazy busy. It's a good thing. Help a lot of families, running all over the place. It's good. I mean, my daughter goes back in another week or right after the holiday. But things are going crazy. And college is starting up for the other girls, and business is busy. So thank goodness everything's going well. Yeah,
well, that's good. And on our topic for today, Joe, a third of adults age 50 and over are not prepared for retirement. And boy, by the time you're past 50, you should be prepared for retirement or have a plan in place. And if you don't, you need to get one. But I've got to believe that number, that sounds low to me, actually. I mean, it's a staggering number, even if that is it. But I'll tell you what, more than a third of the people I personally know over the age of 50 are not prepared for retirement, as far as I know. So, I know that our listeners are probably curious about figuring out if they're in that group, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what we get that all the time. People say, I want to make sure I'm on track. We've got the tools to help it. But, to determine if you're on track for a healthy retirement, especially, you may have several decades before you retire, depending whatever your age is. I have families coming in their 40s, some in their 50s, some in their 60s. And it's funny, they say, I talked to my guy and he says, we'll have that talk when you're ready, when we're getting close. You know what? This has always got to be something on your mind. You need to be on track all the way through.
Right.
So this has to be a constant discussion. So, when you're looking at this, one option to look at your current income and estimate what percentage of that income you'll need in retirement to cover your expenses. Although there's no hard and fast rule to determine how much income you'll need in retirement. At American Retirement Advisors, we find that a retiree will require 70 to 80% of their pre-retirement income to maintain their lifestyle.
Yeah, probably at least, right?
Well, at least, and we talk with a lot of our families as we want to make sure that they have, we like to get make sure everybody's out of debt. I mean, debt is a huge thing. And if we can get everybody out of debt way beforehand, then, you can make a little bit better heads or tails of what you're going to need for retirement. There are some calculators on there, ARP.com and NerdWallet.com. They have calculators that can be useful to help with that. We also have a beautiful program with a compass that's, we plug everything in. We call it a compass because it gives you that map that you need in retirement. As a client, you're going to need to know how you're going to get there, why you're going to get there, what it's going to take. So we definitely recommend meeting with a financial professional who can get you on the right track, like what we do with our clients. Plug all the numbers in, make sure everything looks good. let you know if you have to increase your savings. And, a big thing is when you talk about the debt, if you can get rid of that debt, you can really pound more money into savings to make sure that you reach that goal.
Yeah, and I know that's where you start. And for our listeners out there, and for myself, the starting point is find a trusted financial professional, a fiduciary to work with who has your best interests in mind, and come up with a written plan, run these reports, figure out where you're at for your own personal situation, and then determine your income need in retirement. So that does sound like a logical place to start. Very good advice, Joe. What's next?
Well, absolutely. And yeah, you're absolutely right, Tony. You've got to have the fiduciary like myself, because we got to make sure that we're doing what's in your best interest, right? So now, once you've determined your possible future income needs, you may find that you need to begin saving more of your current income. While this is always easy advice, right, it can be hard to put into place, especially during times when money is tight. It can be discouraging, but you got to remember, slow and steady wins the race, right? You may be tempted to avoid saving more simply because you feel the situation is too dire already and you could be overwhelmed. Well, however, if you start saving a little today, it can grow over time, like that. As noted humanitarian and activist Desmond Tutu once said, there is only one way to eat an elephant, a bite at a time.
Yeah, one bite at a time. I've heard that line before, of course. We may have even mentioned it on the show, but I never realized where it came from. Desmond Tutu. I always thought it was you. I always credit it to Joe Vitale.
That's right. I'm great at stealing lines like that, yes, for sure. So, yeah, the first bite, can be as simple as determining where your income is being currently spent. Track your spending. By dividing into different categories. Creating these lists can be an eye-opening experience, and you may find areas that you can reduce or adjust to impact your savings. The big thing is we're looking at credit cards. It's so easy. We live in a society where we spend, and it's so easy with the credit cards. But if we put it away and just start using cash a little bit more and tracking a little bit more, you can free up more money. That's one way to do it. Maybe that you find that you need to take drastic measures to get your retirement savings on track. Like Social Security will likely be a part of your retirement income. We can't depend on all of it, right? Your financial services professional can also help you maximize your potential Social Security benefit. And this can help address your savings deficit. And that's what we do. We look at a Social Security maximization strategy to figure out how that's going to play into your retirement, what it's going to be. However, according to Social Security Administration monthly statistical snapshot of June 2019, the average monthly retirement benefit is only around $1,400 a month. And remember, that's just an average, not a guarantee. Your personal benefit could be very different.
Well, it doesn't seem like a lot of monthly income.
No, not hard. I mean, that's the problem.
Yeah.
If you take it, it goes off the highest 35 years and people say, oh, Social Security, that's my plan. That's not a good plan. There's a lot of problems with Social Security. We're hoping that everything should be there, and it should be. It's going to be there, but they're going to have different things that they're going to make it a lot of changes because, in the next 15 years, the Social Security is going to have a lot of problems. So you really got to make sure that you don't depend on that as the be-all, end-all, but use that as a supplement to your retire and take care of the other issues as well.
Okay. And, not only will additional income likely be needed then, obviously, but I assume some retirees may need to find ways to spend less as well, right?
Exactly. That's a great point and dovetails nicely into our next article from MarketWatch.com, which is How to Enjoy a Frugal Retirement. This article details some suggestions for those retirees who are looking to maximize their ability to enjoy retirement while on a limited budget.
Okay, so I love it when things dovetail nicely. What's the first tip from this Market Watch article?
Well, the first tip mentioned in the article is to clearly define the things that are non-negotiable for you. This isn't simply a list of necessities, right, like shelter, food, or water. This list should include things that provide enjoyment, which align with your core values. Which are some things like activities or hobbies or more. You got to remember, you're in retirement now. You're not going to work every day. What are you going to do to keep busy? So you have to make sure you put that in there. The article suggests identifying those non-negotiable items and then avoid spending on any other areas. This may take the emotional strength that you may have to adjust some of your habits as well. So food is a necessity, but how you interact with that necessity may be non-negotiable. Some retirees on a limited budget will work to avoid spending excess funds on eating out. However, if you feel that occasionally eating out is something that may bring you joy, you may want to find cost savings in another area.
Yeah, that's really good advice. And one thing that's not negotiable is that we must occasionally take a break here on the show. Let's take a minute, Joe, to let our listeners know how they can get a hold of you and that special offer you have for them.
You bet, Tony. Preparing for retirement is an important part of the financial process. Visit my website at aradvisorsinc.com or call my office at 855-756-5700 to set up a complimentary consultation today. We want to make sure you're prepared for retirement that you've worked so hard for. So one of the things we want to make sure you get is your retirement income, your retirement toolkit. And that includes a copy of our book. It includes Social Security maximization strategy. So those are things that you really need to make sure that gets you on the right track.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And listeners, stay tuned. We're going to be right back with more of our host, Joe Vitale, here on Retirement Tactics right after this.
Retirement today looks much different than it has in the past. Market volatility, low interest rates, and the rising cost of healthcare have left more of a burden on individuals than ever before. But it doesn't have to. New Generation Retirement offers a holistic approach to preparing for your golden years. This 5-step process allows you to explore key areas that we believe are fundamental to successful retirement planning. You will be confident knowing that you have been given careful consideration to asset allocation and risk, income planning, legacy planning, and tax strategies. You are invited to a complimentary dinner and workshop to learn how you can utilize this holistic approach to retirement planning. For times, location, and to reserve your seat at one of these workshops, call American Retirement Advisors at 855-756-5700 or online at aradvisorsinc.com. Once again, that number is 855-756-5700 or aradvisorsinc.com.
And welcome back to Retirement Tactics. I'm your co-host, Tony Shore, and our host, the man with the plan, is Joe Vitale of American Retirement Advisors. And Joe, today we've been talking about some tips for unprepared retirees, which I think a lot of us probably feel unprepared or are unprepared. A recent Market Watch article, How to Enjoy a Frugal Retirement, does break down some of those tips for current retirees living on a limited budget. Tell us more about those frugal friends of yours.
All right. Well, one of the couples featured in the article is Joan and Steve Reed, and they're retired living in Vero Beach, Florida. Now, the Reeds created a list of tips that they use to avoid excess spending on non-negotiable categories. So here are just a few items from the Reeds list. They cut their own hair and perform their own manicures. The library serves as a cost-efficient way to read new books and even borrow new movies. That makes a ton of sense. Joan and Steve also try to take advantage of free or discounted entertainment options like free community concerts, bike rides, and walks, which makes that's almost like a no-brainer.
Right.
They avoid the cost of gym membership by exercising in the local community parks and pathways. They save money by not using credit cards and by taking advantage of secondhand stores for gently used clothes and household items. The Reeds even go so far as to avoid many kinds of food and stick to a plant-based diet, which, seems wow. Oh my goodness.
Wow. I mean, it feels like pretty extreme moves to make.
It's very true, Tony. And while, some of the Reeds' tips may not be for everyone, the suggestions from a recent Yahoo Finance article are fairly universal. The article entitled 10 Ways to Live Frugally in Retirement, published April this year, 2019, and is available on finance.yahoo.com. It provides a few items that overlap with the Reed's tips. Yahoo also recommends eating out less, but points out that some savings can be found by taking advantage of potential senior discounts. Restaurants like Applebee's, Dunkin' Donuts, and more, they do have senior discounts, which does help. So you see that a lot. Another thing is I can't tell you, if you go online, how many times you can get a Groupon and save a bunch of money there as well. Or, the coupons come in the mail all the time. Why not?
Right. Well, that's true. And sometimes those grocery stores have double coupon days for seniors. I know that, and that's a huge savings. It adds up.
That's right. Well, absolutely. And organizations like, American Association of Retirement Persons, or the AARP, and the American Seniors Association, they provide discounts to members on any number of products and services, from travel, home, auto insurance to health and wellness services, even grocery and entertainment discounts. And taking advantage of discounts could be a way to cut spending in some areas that you deem non-negotiable. Part of that is, I'm going to use an example of my parents. My parents my dad's almost 80 years old, and they're going around complaining about their car insurance. And I says, hey, did you shop that around lately? Well, sure enough, I gave him my guy that I use, and they save $600 a year in car insurance because somebody, oh no, I've been with this company for years. And they may be getting the best price, but if they don't, when you're coming into retirement and you need to be at a fixed income, you got to live frugally, you got to look at every way that you can possibly save.
Yeah, you have to look at all avenues, and because they all add up. What's another way, besides finding discounts, that Yahoo Finance mentions?
Well, they also mention another way to live frugally, and that, in my opinion, is very important. And this is to plan for healthcare costs. So healthcare can be one of the biggest expenses for retirees. The report mentioned that in the article estimates that retirees will need over $200,000 to cover medical expenses throughout the duration of their retirement.
Wow.
Now, one way to help prepare for those healthcare costs is to open and fund a health savings account, or an HSA. So if you are enrolled in a high deductible health insurance plan, long-term care insurance is another potentially frugal financial move, because often long-term care insurance is cheaper before you reach retirement age. So, we recommend that if you can get it before 60 or at 60, that's pretty much the best time to get it, as far as if you can qualify for it. And although it may be a little bit of money out of your pocket all the way through, it's going to be cheaper early on than after you retire. And if you do have a care that you need, it's going to be, it's going to save you a ton of money at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. That makes perfect sense. And speaking of a ton of money, long-term care, wow. Health care, long-term care, and those related costs are something I know impacts a lot of retirees and budgets out there.
Oh, yeah. The tips that mentioned today are just some of the ways that you'll be able to be more frugal during retirement. But I do have one more tip from the Yahoo Finance article that caught my eye. Do you have any more questions, or are you curious about how you can determine your Social Security timing or how to structure your account withdrawals? The article recommends that you consider hiring a financial services professional like myself. As always, they can help you prepare and strategize for your financial future. And that's kind of what we talked about. We want to talk about Social Security maximization strategy, how to put that into your retirement income, how to make sure that you're filing at the right time to maximize your years. And we like to, extrapolate that out over, 30 years to make sure that you're going to be okay all the way through retirement.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that makes perfect sense. Now, really quick here, before we move on, let our listeners know how they can get a hold of you and set up that complimentary, no-cost, no-obligation consultation.
Well, our goal at American Retirement Advisors is, in our planning process, is truly to provide our clients with clarity, knowing that they will be comfortable in retirement that they have worked so hard for. So visit our website at aradvisorsinc.com or call my office at 855-756-5700 to set up the consultation today.
All right, that sounds great, and it's been a great show so far. And again, listeners, you are listening to Retirement Tactics with our host, Joe Vitale.
All right, that's right, Tony. Today we're talking about some tips for the unprepared retiree. In our earlier segments, we touched on some tips that focused on identifying expenses and cutting down on spending. In the last segment, I want to pivot into a different type of being prepared. This has to do with happiness in retirement. A happy retirement is more than just money. Now, that's the title of a CNBC article from March 2019. This article breaks down some of the things that you can do to improve your retirement.
Well, I'm sure a lot of retirees out there want to enjoy retirement as much as possible, obviously. I know my wife and I do, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And retirement, enjoyment can mean many things. In addition to feeling financially secure, many retirees are also looking to find emotional and intellectual stimulation. Now, this can take the form of finding creative outlets, physical activity, or even leisure activities. Often individuals can find outlets that fulfill some of these that are related to their former careers. They could explore tutoring if they were previously in education. Those with experience as marketers or salespeople might find consulting a viable avenue.
So a former career may morph into an enrichment option in retirement, right?
Absolutely, Tony. Retirees may also find that their hobbies or leisure time activities could provide additional income opportunities as well. If a retiree loves attending sporting events, working part-time at a local stadium or arena may be a way to make money and continue to enjoy that activity. Do they have a green thumb? Finding part-time job at a nursery or garden could improve your skills. Working a few hours in a pro shop down at the golf course may cut down the cost of your weekly round of golf. There are many options that can help fulfill the emotional, physical, and intellectual needs and provide a bit of change.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, it's funny. One of my clients, he was in education for years. He loved to golf. Well, he's a starter at the golf club and has been for years. He's financially fine. He's doing great, but he thoroughly enjoys that, and he gets to play an extra round a day at no cost too. So, that's one way to do it. Another one of my clients, he's a referee. He loves baseball, so he's a referee. He makes a little bit of pocket change doing that, but it's just one more way to keep busy and enjoy and make a little bit extra money.
Yeah, an extra pocket change is always good to have. A lot of people have a side hustle or an extra gig out there, right?
That's it. Another thing that can impact your happiness in retirement is your health. I think we overlooked that. And that's why our next resource for today is an article from the Boston Herald entitled Exercise Over 50 Equals Happier, Healthier Retirement. So exercise is important and valuable, but before you sign up for that marathon or kickboxing class, here are some important safety tips to help you avoid potential injury. First, speak to your physician. It may be possible that a certain exercise is not a good idea. This could be especially true if you're dealing with chronic conditions such as heart disease, diabetes, or arthritis. You may end up doing more harm than good if you choose the wrong activity, so your physical therapist or doctor can help you identify the risks associated and determine the most beneficial exercise activities for you.
That makes a lot of sense. Obviously, exercise can be beneficial. Of course, I think the last time I exercised, Joe, was during the Carter administration. No, I'm kidding. But it has to be the right exercise for you, correct?
Exactly. The Boston Herald also suggests that when you start a new exercise routine as an older adult, it would be wise to start with something low impact. You need to allow your body to adjust to the new physical activity and stress. So activities like walking and light stretching can allow your muscles, tendons, and ligaments to begin to adjust. So think of the last time you watched an Olympic event, whether it was the 100-meter dash or a swimming relay. Odds are you saw those world-class athletes stretching and preparing their bodies before the race. Professional baseball players stretch, run, and take batting practice hours before the first pitch. So also remember to give yourself some time to recover by scheduling rest days in your routine as well.
Right. That's a great point. I know that sometimes the excitement of starting a new workout routine might cause me to try to do too much too fast, and that upsets the whole plan, doesn't it?
It does. I tell you what, I was over my son-in-law's the other day, and he had his brothers over, and they started putting some weights on the racks and started lifting, and I'm like, oh, well, I can lift weights too. So I went in there and I just started hammering it out as well. Well, I tell you, my endurance is not what it used to be, and yes, I was sore, and I'm like, something just doesn't feel right. I didn't stretch. I didn't get ready for it. I jumped in too hard too quick. So that's what this is saying. So, it's also recommended you find the right place to exercise. So that means it might mean a gym or a workout facility, but in my opinion, nothing provides as much benefits, as working out in the great outdoors, right? Nice, as long as you're not in Smog Haven, right? You want to make sure you can breathe the fresh air. However, it doesn't mean that you should go for a long walk or jog by yourself in the woods. You need to make sure you're in a place that is not remote. There's people coming by, there's people, because you may consider like boardwalks, public parks, or outdoor gyms, just in case you suffer an injury or mishap. You want to make sure somebody's around there. So exercise can be a great benefit for any retiree, but you want to make sure that you're in the safest location when doing it.
Yeah, obviously. Now, as usual, our time has just flown by. We're out of time for today's show. Is there anything else you want to add, Joe, before we have to go today?
Well, at American Retirement Advisors, we're all about helping rejuvenate your retirement, making sure you're set up for the long haul, making sure you can enjoy it financially, spiritually, emotionally. We want to make sure we help you all the way through. So definitely visit our website at aradvisorsinc.com. Give us a call at 855-756-5700. Come on in for a complimentary consultation at our office, get a retirement income toolkit. And, we really want to make sure that give you the information you need to build a retirement with a solid foundation.
Yeah, that's really important, and great show today, Joe. Listeners, that does it for today's episode of Retirement Tactics with our host, Joe Vitale. Thank you for listening to Retirement Tactics. Don't pay too much for taxes or retire without a sound income plan. For more information, please contact Joe Vitale at American Retirement Advisors. Call 855-756-5700 or visit them online at aradvisorsinc.com. All matters discussed during this show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation.